Good morning, guys. I'm Diane. I made a decision last week which has lifted a heavy burden off of me. I have decided to really and truly retire. It's a great feeling. I should have retired 10 years ago. I will be 76 in just a few short weeks. So I'm just going to lay everything on the table here. And I know I tell too much. I do. But I'm just honest and I just don't keep much to myself. So, why did I work so long? Well, I have a website that I created myself. Have grown it all along. It's probably 15 years old. I have nurtured it. And by the grace of God, it immediately took off. I mentioned it on Facebook a few times in the beginning, and it just took off. I'm not talking about locally. I very seldom do work locally unless it comes to me through another person that lives locally. But I ship all over the United States. California and Texas are my top states. I live in Alabama. I do not know how this happened, but I absolutely give God all the credit. I do. You can't advertise for Roman shades or curtains. People are only interested in Roman shades and curtains when they're in need of Roman shades and curtains. So it does no good to advertise at all. Now, I do have things on Etsy, and that worked pretty well for me too. So it's like giving away one of my dogs for whatever reason, and I would check on them, right? All along, make sure they were doing right wherever they went, call and ask how they're doing, are they adjusting, that kind of thing. Well, my website is like one of my dogs. I care about it. I actually love it. But I'm going to give it away. And you go, why would you give it away? Can't you sell your business? No, nobody wants a custom curtain online business. First, there are 10,000 things I would have to teach you about it. It would just be so complicated. Now, I have an associate, I call him associate, that I have worked with for years. He brings me work locally. For a couple of years, he did one lake house right after the other. And he would bring me the work. I'm very grateful to him and for him. We have become friends. He's a little bit older than my oldest son. He's just a nice guy, and I've appreciated working with him. And I love him and his wife, and I think they're really good people. And I wanted to bless them. What else was I going to do with my website? Turn it off? No, I can't do that. I just can't do that. It will have to just fizzle out on its own, in which it has slowed down a lot, which kind of fit into my plan because I didn't have to work quite as hard to fill all the orders. So anyway, that's why I say giving it to him. I am going to manage it behind the scenes for a 10% charge of the total intake of it. Just a small, it won't be that much. Really, it won't. I don't do that much anymore. It might be a lot to you. It's not a lot. I'm just going to make sure that he understands the orders, because this is new to him, and that he finishes them, gets them out on time, that kind of thing. I will be like an office manager, which is wonderful. Another reason that I've worked so long is because I have been able. I've still been able to do it. And I didn't have to think a lot. I mean, I can make a Roman shade without even thinking. I can watch TV, listen to music. It comes easy to me because I've done it so long. Another reason that I kept working, since I had the orders and I felt like working, I knew that I could make some extra money to do things to finish out my little shed. So that's what I did. I put back money to build the sunroom that I'm sitting in, that I love, which was one of my better decisions. I love it so much. It's the space is big enough that I can accommodate company when they come, and places for them to sit. I had a porch, which I called a coffee porch, off of my bedroom, but it was maybe 3 or 4 feet off the ground, and if I went out there, my dogs would of course go with me, and if they saw a rabbit or a car, they would jump off the porch, and even though we're fenced in, they would still run off and whatever. So I finally had that. I had a wire mesh put around it. You know, it's popular in squares, wire mesh. So they couldn't do that. And just a few weeks ago, I actually went ahead and had it screened in so that my cat, who loves outside, she can go out there and enjoy being outside. And why don't I let her out the door if I'm fenced in? Well, number one, she can get out of the fence. Number two, she likes to bring buddies home with her. She doesn't kill mice or chipmunks or whatever. But she catches them, brings them in the house to play with them. So then I have to try to get rid of a mouse or a chipmunk. I mean, she's brought in all kinds of things. I would not put it past her to bring a snake in. So I really don't like her to roam around. And plus we have a lot of new dogs in the neighborhood. We live out in the county. They're everywhere. And I don't think she would be afraid of them enough to run away and they might hurt her. So that was another reason I screened in the porch for her and for my great-granddaughter. She's so precious. She loves it outside, and I keep her once a month. And that way I don't have to worry about her getting stung or stepping in ants, but she feels like she's outside, so she's happy out there. So that's why I did that. But that is the last of my projects. I actually have everything that I want, everything that I need. I just have plenty. I'm very blessed, and I know that. I know that I'm blessed. So I just don't need anything else. So, and I guess you might ask me, here I go telling things that I shouldn't. But you might ask me, well, if your house is paid for and you've gotten everything you want and you get Social Security, why is that not enough for you? Well, I'll tell you why. My father was an insurance junkie. In his 30s, he started taking out insurance policies. I'm an only child. He wanted to take care of my mother and me in case something happened to him. He was a dear soul. Oh, he was just the quietest, sweetest man ever. Well, he and my mom got a divorce years later, and he finally remarried, and I was glad because he's not the type of person to be alone. I went by his apartment one day, and he was eating a cold hot dog wrapped in a piece of bread. It broke my heart. I mean, he just, he didn't know how to cook, or I was so glad. That's my ice maker, if you hear that. I was so happy when he got married. Well, okay, so she took care of him. He had early Parkinson's, which actually turned into dementia. So his wife was, let's say, simple. She was a simple woman. I liked her fine. She took care of my dad. Okay, so when he died, of course I had to go speak to her about things. This might have been a couple of days after he passed. And I said, well, we need to go through all the insurance policies. And she said, oh, we let all those go a long time ago. And I said, what? And she said, we couldn't afford all that insurance, so we just quit paying it. My dad would have never done that, especially when he's in his later years and death is right around the corner. He would have never done that. Why would she have done that? Why would she have done that? I was flabbergasted. And I said, are you sure? Can I look through any of his papers or whatever? And she said, there's nothing to look through. I have to tell you, I was quite upset because my daddy religiously paid all those premiums. And they weren't much because he got them early, like in his 30s. They were maybe $30 a month. I was a little upset. And I said, well, there's only 3 things of my dad's that I want. I want his old radio, they're tall, the old-timey radios, that was a piece of furniture that stood up, like 40 inches tall. And he had an old-timey clock that was shaped, Do you know what I'm saying? I wanted that. Only, not because I wanted them, because my dad loved them. Neither one of those things worked at all. And they kind of looked crappy, but my dad loved them. So I wanted them. And his coin collection, which was not worth anything. My dad just fiddled around with coins. If he found a Canadian penny, he thought that was great. I mean, it wasn't worth anything, but my dad loved it. That's why I wanted it. And she said, I already gave that radio to my nephew. He wanted it. And I said, I'm sorry, but that was my dad's and he loved it, and I want it. And I've never been forceful or hateful or, I've gone along with the plan. I don't like to rock the boat. But I was already upset at her over the insurance. So I got those 3 things. And she said, oh, by the way, I think your dad wanted his guns to go to your oldest son. And I said, oh, that's great. I'd forgotten about those because that does not interest me at all. And at least she thought about that. I mean, he brought his guns home from the war. They were very special, especially to my son. So anyway, that's enough about that. I didn't mean to get upset. But however, when that happened, now I had gone through divorces, been up and down financially for years, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, dadgummit, I'm getting some insurance for my kids, and I will never let the policies lapse. Well, I was already, 40-something, late 40s. So the premiums were kind of high. And as a matter of fact, they keep going up the older I get. And when I'm 82, they're going to be astronomical. But I am going to figure out a way to keep paying them as long as I'm alive for my kids. I don't want them to have to bury me and come up with the money. And I want them to be blessed by me after I'm gone. None of them actually need it. I want them to have something that I have paid in for years. Just like my dad wanted me to have what he had paid in for years. The Old Testament says, it's a wicked man who leaves nothing for his children. Now, at the time, I thought about that after she told me that you just took a blessing away from my father by doing that. Because my dad knew nothing about that. He was mentally not capable of knowing that she did that. He wasn't. Back to the Bible. I don't feel that way anymore. I don't feel like you're wicked if you don't leave anything for your children. You always can't leave something. You always can't do that. And then when Jesus came along, I believe that he changed everything. I believe that everything is full of grace, forgiveness, and love. So I hold no harsh feelings against this woman. I really don't think she was capable of understanding what she did either. I really don't. So, I'm over it. I was over it a long time ago. I do think about it occasionally. I am not lying. But I forgave her a long time ago. That's why I don't have enough money to live on, Social Security wise. That money goes to a separate bank account. All my insurance policies, I have 4. Okay, I have 4. All of those come out automatically from my Social Security. All of my TV stuff comes out there automatically. My water comes out there automatically. It's gone. A few other things automatically. So I don't even think about all of that. It's automatically taken care of. That's where my Social Security is. So now I have to make money to buy groceries, keep the lights turned on, etc. Phone bill. You absolutely know. So, now, in my life, no one needs me. No one needs me. All of my children are settled in a job. They're financially secure. They're all happy. And most importantly, my grandchildren are finally settled. I know about each one of them and what's going on in their life, and I know that they're secure and they're happy and that they don't need me anymore. Hey, Gran, I can't pay my light bill this month. Can you help? Yeah, I was there for them. No questions. I asked no questions. They knew, and they did not use me. They did not. I'll never believe they used me. When they needed me, Gran was here. Now, that's not all of them. Some of them. And that's okay. So no one needs me anymore. I don't need extra cash laying around. So I'm just trusting God, just like I trusted Him when I moved in a shed, which is still unbelievable to me, that I went outside, walked in my shed, looked around and said, can I possibly live in here for the rest of my life? So I'm trusting God that everything's going to turn out just as it should. Now, I'm not going to sit on the couch and be hungry and go, I'm just trusting God to bring me some food. Somebody will show up with some food or something to drink. I'm just going to sit here and trust God. No, I'm going to do my part. God expects us to do our part. He's not going to drop things in our lap magically. But I do trust Him in all things. And I'm trusting Him in this. And I have no doubts that I will make it. Now, my hobby is painting. You guys know that. I find peace in painting. I get lost in painting. I have no worries whatsoever when I'm painting, and I love it. I have plenty of paint. I have plenty of things to paint on, so I'm good to go in that area. And I am trusting that God will send people to my website on Etsy and buy my little painting kits so they can learn to paint the way I have learned to paint, because I'm not an artist. I copy other artists. It's so easy the way I do it. And it kind of looks like a watercolor. It's not a lot of gaudy paint here and there. I don't mean to say gaudy because I love all kind of art. But I'm just saying I paint simply. And I think I can teach other people to do that. I have to tell you one other God thing. I sit on the coffee every morning. I sit on the sofa every morning. And I drink coffee for an hour, hour and a half, collect my thoughts, decide what I'm doing that day, how it's going to all turn out, what time I think I'll be done, that kind of thing. So one morning, I was sitting there thinking, a long time ago, maybe a year and a half ago, when I started YouTube and then quit, I also made a painting channel and quit because I had no views, nothing was going on, so it's just sitting there. Anyway, they're crappy. I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't. Still don't. I still don't know what I'm doing. And I was sitting there thinking, okay, I was monetized last week on YouTube. I wonder if I should try to revive that painting channel and see if I can get it going, get it monetized. Or should I just paint occasionally on this channel because I already have a following? Wonder what I should do. And then my phone laying right beside me went ding-a-ling. That means I've got a message from someone from YouTube. I opened it and someone said, I love your paintings. I would love to learn how to do that. And I went, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think I can paint on this channel and have people still follow me otherwise. And about that time my phone went ding-a-ling. So I picked it up to see what the comment was. And a lady said, I love your paintings. I would love to learn how you paint. Can you please paint something on your channel and let us watch you? And I went, oh my God. You are amazing, God. I mean, do you know I had chill bumps, and I actually have chill bumps now thinking about it. I mean, do things like that happen to you? And I thought, okay, I'm painting on this channel occasionally. Okay, my camera is blinking. I do not know what's going on, so I'm going to wrap this up. So I'm trusting God to take care of me in this retirement. And love's coming your way, and I will see you later.